Racism isn't a flaw in America's system. It is the system. The nation was built on stolen indigenous land and the forced labor of enslaved Africans, justified by racist ideologies. These weren't accidents or isolated prejudices, but deliberate policies to create a racial hierarchy that concentrated power and wealth. The founding documents protected slavery, embedding inequality into the nation's core. The Three-Fifths Compromise, for example, gave slaveholding states more political power by counting enslaved people as partial citizens. This wasn't just personal bias. It was a calculated move to protect white elites. America's prosperity grew from land and labor taken by force, not from pure ideals. The racist policies of early America weren't temporary. They were foundational, creating a framework that would adapt and persist. Systemic racism is America's origin story, shaping every generation since. The legacy of this architecture is visible in today's economic and political structures. To understand the present, we must recognize how the past built the world we live in. Only by facing this history can we begin to dismantle its enduring power. The end of slavery didn't end racism, it just changed its form. After Reconstruction, the Jim Crow era imposed a legal caste system segregating every aspect of life and stripping Black Americans of rights. These laws were enforced by both police and violence, ensuring Black citizens remained second class. In the North, racism hid in policies like redlining, which denied Black families access to homeownership and generational wealth. Federal maps marked Black neighborhoods as risky, starving them of investment. White families built wealth in suburbs while Black families were trapped in underfunded urban areas. The effects of these policies are still seen in today's wealth gap and segregated cities. Systemic racism doesn't always need hateful language, just a pen, a map, and a policy. The chains of slavery were replaced by the red lines of exclusion. Even America's most celebrated social programs, like the New Deal, were designed to exclude Black Americans. To win Southern support, key programs like Social Security left out jobs held mostly by Black workers, denying them benefits. The GI Bill, though race-neutral on paper, was implemented by local institutions steeped in Jim Crow, shutting Black veterans out of housing and education opportunities. These policies built white wealth while locking Black families out. Systemic racism often hides in neutral laws, but the impact is clear. The New Deal and GI Bill created generational advantages for whites, deepening the racial wealth gap. The promise of equal opportunity was broken by design. America's biggest reforms have too often invested in whiteness, while disinvesting in Blackness. After the Civil Rights era, racism adapted, hiding behind race-neutral language. Mass incarceration exploded in the 1970s, targeting Black and brown communities under the guise of law and order. A criminal record now means lifelong barriers to jobs, housing, and voting, locking many Black Americans out of society. The carceral state became a new caste system, with racist outcomes regardless of intent. Voter suppression is another modern tool, with restrictive laws and purges targeting communities of color. Politicians use coded language, urban voter fraud, illegal aliens, to stoke racial resentment without explicit slurs. The MAGA movement and policies like immigration bans are built on these dog whistles. Systemic racism survives by hiding in policy and rhetoric, not just in open hate. Today's racial hierarchy is maintained by laws and language that seem neutral but have devastating effects. Racism in America now hides in plain sight. America's racial divisions aren't just a moral failure, they're a strategic weakness. While other nations move forward united, America's internal conflicts drain its progress and potential. Political gridlock, fueled by racial resentment, blocks solutions to urgent issues like healthcare and climate change. Zero-sum thinking, rooted in a legacy of racial hierarchy, makes national consensus nearly impossible. Countries that embrace inclusion, like Canada or New Zealand, implement forward-thinking policies more efficiently. America's refusal to confront its racist past keeps it stuck, relitigating old battles instead of building its future. Systemic racism erodes trust, stability, and global leadership. The cost of division is not just social, it's economic, political, and existential. America stands at a crossroads burdened by a history it hasn't fully faced. Racism is systemic, woven into laws, the economy, and society. It persists because it benefits those in power, justifying inequality. To be anti-racist is to actively identify and dismantle these systems, not just avoid personal prejudice. Real change means building new structures, not patching old ones. This includes reparations, criminal justice reform, voting rights, and investing in communities long denied resources. The future depends on choosing anti-racism over denial. America can cling to myths and grow more divided, or do the hard work of building a truly multiracial democracy. This isn't about political correctness. It's about national survival. To create a better future, America must face its past with honesty and commit to real change.